welcome. Are you ready to start writing? Let's get right to it.
Many people would like to begin a creative writing project, but they're not sure where to start. The most important thing is that you should never stop learning. In this video, I will give you some tips and advice to help you get on your way. So pick up your pen and notebook and let's get started. First of all, you have to ask yourself if you are humble enough to learn. It might sound like a strange question, but sometimes people may approach us from all areas of life, and we may put up barriers to listening to what they have to say. We might think that we know some things already, there's nothing that they can teach us, and we are frustrated by what they have to say. And so these all create barriers to learning. What you need to do is to try to keep an open mind and remember that you can always learn something new every day. And who do you think would be your ideal teacher? Would you like someone older or younger than yourself? Perhaps someone more experienced? Somebody who is in the same field as you? Sometimes writers like to listen to other writers and find out what they have experienced, but it can be very helpful to listen to people from different fields, from different areas of life, to see what their experiences are and how they have overcome obstacles. So try to listen to different videos, different podcasts, perhaps even friends and people who have different careers to see what they can teach you. And you may be surprised that they have overcome very similar obstacles to what you are facing. Then you do need to be realistic about what works for you. So, somebody may recommend a course for you to study, and you might find it very unappealing. So, decide what is a good way for you to learn. Do you enjoy videos and seeing something visual, or do you prefer an audio podcast while you're busy with other tasks? Or do you like books where you can underline and make notes? Some people like brief information, others prefer it to be more detailed, and then you might like to have a task where you can put the information into practice. So discover what is actually going to work for you. You may watch 5 different videos and suddenly a sentence or phrase stands out in your mind and everything makes sense and it resolves your problem. Focus on what resonates for you. A certain kind of information might help you, and the penny drops. You understand your situation and it gives you a vision as to what you want to do, and then you can share this advice with others. The most important thing is that you need to do something. It's no good to sit or lie around waiting for inspiration, hoping and wishing that something will fall into your mind and that you will magically think of a plot or a story or how to overcome your situation. Find a teacher, take some notes, and take small steps, and you will find very soon that you will have progressed out of this kind of static situation into a much better active process. Writing is so useful to everyone in every field of life. You don't have to be a writer for it to be a very useful skill, whether you are sending an email, creating a marketing program, or writing a text to a boyfriend or girlfriend. Everyone needs to write something almost every day. So, how can we practice expressing our thoughts and feelings? The first thing is to write a good first line, and you can write a few of these and see how interesting you can make them. Write the kind of first line that would make you want to pick up a book in a store and just keep on reading. Then you can try to develop a paragraph from that line and then write a short story. Keep it brief and then ask for a valued opinion, not just somebody that you don't know on the internet, but perhaps a teacher or friend who knows you so that they can give you some good feedback. A lot of writers get stuck because they cannot decide on which genre to choose, and they're confused as to what would be best for them. But the best is to choose anything. It doesn't matter whether it is romance or fantasy or a detective story, just pick any genre because you can always change, you can try out different formats and see where you find your voice. The important thing is to try, and then if it's not very good, it's okay because you will improve. So here, for example, you have a generic story of a boy who wants to succeed in life. So this could happen anywhere. We can imagine these scenes taking place. And he leaves home, he makes new friends, he gets a job, and he falls in love. So you could write a story about this where each of these bubbles is a different scene in the boy's life. Firstly, where he is in his home, how old is he, what is his environment, then he leaves home, and where does he go to? And then when he makes friends, you can describe each of these situations as a separate scene. Then we need to add some complications for our protagonist. To make your story interesting, you need to put some obstacles in the way of the boy achieving his goals. So he leaves home, but perhaps he has terrible neighbors where he lives. Perhaps he is in a block of flats and they are very noisy, they have loud parties, and he can't sleep. Think about terrible neighbors from your own experience, and you can add to that scene. Then, when he makes new friends, perhaps these friends are not as great as he thinks. They might borrow money or betray him in some way. Think of how that could be an obstacle for him. And at his job, perhaps he doesn't enjoy the job so much. His boss is mean. He doesn't make enough money. Think about the work environment and all of the distractions and problems there. And then the girl that he falls in love with, perhaps she cheats on him, perhaps she is not what he is looking for. Try to think of complications in his relationship. So again, you have added on scenes to your story to make things a little bit difficult for your character so that he has to grow in all of these areas of his life. And now, as a writer, you need to imagine an ending for your protagonist. It could be a sad ending where he is lonely and frustrated and he hasn't achieved his goals. Perhaps he lost his job and must go home. So it could be a sad ending, or he could be very determined and ambitious. He could have succeeded in achieving his goals. It could be happy or sad, or you could have a third combination, which would be a mixture of the two. Maybe he achieved some things, but not others. Maybe he was successful at work, but he hasn't found the girl of his dreams. And then you could always add an unexpected twist. After writing your story, you need to edit and check and delete some work. And most writers don't enjoy this process. We like to create stories. We don't really like to cut back on what has been done. But here you have to be like a teacher grading an essay, and you have to be analytical and cut out what doesn't work. Even though it might seem like beautiful writing to you, if it's not adding to your story, then it might just be getting in the way. So here is a task for you to try. It's another generic situation that could happen anywhere. The main or the central part of the story is that you receive a gift, and the protagonist can be a man or woman, older or younger. It's up to you to decide. And the gift is a ticket anywhere in the world. So you can travel anywhere you like, and you have spending money, you see some amazing sights, and then you meet an attractive stranger. So this all sounds great. You have your scenes that you can describe, the excitement, and imagine the travel. And then you need to add some complications to the story to make it interesting. So your ticket has taken you somewhere amazing, somewhere exotic in the world, but as beautiful as it is, there could be an undercurrent of danger or crime that could be a problem. On the other hand, there could be some chaos that could lead to it being more humorous or funny, or there could be some kind of a natural disaster. So think about how that could affect your environment. Then you have spending money, but what happens if it is stolen? That could be a negative complication, or you could have something more positive happen where you bump into a member of a royal family and get welcomed into the home of a king. You see beautiful sights. They could be waterfalls or snow-covered mountains and cities with restaurants and nightclubs. What could happen that could be a problem? Perhaps a taxi takes you in a different route, or perhaps you get lost. Think about these problems for a traveler. And when you meet the attractive stranger, the person could be a romantic interest in the story, or they could be a heroic figure, somebody who saves the day, or they could be a devious and deceitful person who causes heartbreak and a problem at the end. So think about all of these scenes that you are now adding on to your task. If you would like further writing help or advice, you can find me on Substack, and on Patreon. I can help you with conversation, dialogue, and English language skills. On Facebook and Instagram, I will keep my writing and books updated so you can see what I'm busy with. Take a look at my books on Amazon. I appreciate your comments, feedback, and questions, and wish you all of the best on your writing journey.